Thank you very much. My name's Robert Enriquez, and I'm going to be your next Secretary of State. I was born a U.S. citizen in Honduras. My mother was an Ohio girl, and we fought in a lot of wars on my mother's side, from the Civil War all the way through the Second World War. And so when I arrived in the United States when I was 13, I'm going to tell you what I felt at the time. It's crystal clear. This was a nation of a free people, unafraid of their government. That has changed. So it's time for you and for all of us to join forces and send a message to Washington and send a message to the people behind me when they're in session that we're not going to take it anymore. That we've had enough of big government and big spending. This Secretary of State, these are his words, has the largest Secretary of State's office in the nation. Those are his words. What part of too much government don't you get? And what about when this organization back here was passing that $99 for a 1-penny sticker? Where was he? He was in the back rooms applauding them. He didn't defend your interests. He didn't defend your rights. Because when you multiply nearly $100 profit times 10 million vehicles, that's $1 billion year in and year out coming into the Secretary of State's office. And that money is supposed to go to fixing the roads of Illinois. And you and I know, and our shock absorbers and the alignment of our car and the new wheels, that with those $99 we could fill up our refrigerator for our kids to eat. We know those roads aren't getting fixed, and we got to find out why. And that's why I'm going to perform a complete audit of the Secretary of State's office, and I'm going to publish those results online for you to look at where all your money's been going to all these years. So help me God, I promise I'll do it. "20 years ago, we found out, to our horror, our abject sadness, that patronage and corruption will cause fiery deaths for our children on the roads of Illinois. People were driving that should not have been driving in our state and elsewhere. Just this year, we found out that some in the Secretary of State's office are still selling driver's licenses to people who want to board airplanes at O'Hare Airport, and that is the truth. So 10 years after 9/11, we're still thrashing around with document protocols and letting the snakes in the system sell to interested parties, to the highest bidder. I promise you, as your next Secretary of State, so help me Semper Fidelis, I am going to lock down document protocols, and we're going to make sure we get rid of people boarding airplanes that shouldn't be on our airplanes. More than 200 years ago, the framers of the Constitution wanted you to be here. They said so. They conferred your right, your absolute duty to be here today through the First Amendment of our Constitution. We the people have every right. Not government. We the people run things in this country. And that's another thing I can tell you has been whittled away. We can talk about how Wall Street, and we could talk about how our party had caused some problems in the country. But what were the people we elected in this state? What were the people in Washington doing all these years, debilitating our country? We know there will be 9/11s, and God forbid there's another one. We know there will be earthquakes. We know there will be storms. We know that our economy will falter. So we must always keep it strong. We must always keep government small. And we must always encourage small businesses to grow and prosper so that we have the strength and our children are educated and our freedoms are intact to resist the storms that will come. And that is not what has been happening the last 20 years. I think that you are completing a mission. You are underway of creating history, as am I. The framers of the Constitution wanted people to come out of private life, like yourselves, and drive home a point that career politicians have never been good for our nation, and they never will be good for our nation, and that's why I'm running for Secretary of State. I pledge to you that you will be proud of your Secretary of State's office, that we will clean up corruption, and we will eliminate patronage. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain by posting the Secretary of State's budget online. That's not what the folks back here want. That's not what the folks at the Secretary of State's office want. But with your help and your prayers, and by reaching out to 10 individuals and convincing them to reach out to 10 more, I, an immigrant, am going to be your next Secretary of State. Thank you very much. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.